Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Comm Box at the end of the 10 overs of South Africa's innings, who were put into bat by Team India. I'm Tanay Tiwari. Joined with me is Mr. Bhattacharjya. Welcome along, Joy. Let's have a look at where the game is right now. And after that power play, it did seem like perhaps the pitch was a little slow. The runs were not being scored. But at the end of 10 overs, with that score reading 96 for 1, and with Quinton de Kock especially looking in that kind of form, it doesn't spell well for Team India.
No, absolutely. I think 48 first in the power play, and then after that, they've really pressed the accelerator. And I think what has happened is that, and it's really good signs for them because Riley Rousseau is in form, and he's been a phenomenal player this year. He's come back thanks to Kolpak being cancelled, and now he's the player they were hoping would get into some kind of a form for the World Cup. So he's got going as well, and as we know, de Kock got going in the last match. So this is really exciting batting from them. They're taking the Indian bowlers on, and right now it's definitely looking as if the South Africans are on the front foot.
Yeah, South Africa did lose that one wicket of Temba Bavuma, who's been struggling with some real poor patch of form there. But apart from that, if we have a look at the Indian bowlers as well, all of them now, especially Joy, as you mentioned, the first 6 overs give you 48, and then the next 4 give you 48, and that's starting to reflect in the economy rates as well. Of course, they've used the 5 bowlers. Ravichandran Ashwin has bowled 3 inside the first 10. You'd say that is because the 2 left-handers were batting out there?
Absolutely. He bowled 2 in the power play, and he bowled pretty well. Finally, they got hold of him. He tried to control them, but he went for 50 in the last. But till then, he was bowling pretty decently. And remember, you've got to look at it and say, this is a really small ground. You have attacking batsmen going for you. It's a very difficult place for spinners to bowl. So he's had a tough time. And remember, Siraj literally is coming out of nowhere. He's literally not been a part of your plans. Suddenly you brought him into the plans. And in my head, I think it's really Suraj versus Umesh is a sort of playoff for who's going to be the standby once Shami gets drafted in the main team. I think that's how the Indian think tank is looking at it, that one of these 2 guys will probably have to go because, Bumrah will go out and Shami should be coming into the first, into the squad.
Yeah, and the one thing that you were mentioning right before we came live on air was the fact that we haven't seen much of Akshar Patel yet, and we saw this in the last game as well. We saw him that because there were 2 left-handers batting, David Miller and Quinton de Kock, Rohit held him back. Do you think that's the reason why they're holding him back right now as well?
Absolutely, and on a ground so small, it's very difficult for a bowler who's going to bowl into the arc of the batsman. 2 left-handers are batting, so they'll try and hold him back. Remember, India is playing this particular game with 6 specialist bowlers. Because if you remember, they've dropped Virat. Virat is not dropped. They've rested Virat and Rahul. And instead of them, only 1 batsman is coming. 1 bowler is coming. So they have the extra bowler. But Akshar they're probably just waiting for that wicket. And, Ashwin again, whether they bowl an extra over out of him now, how do they go from out it? Lots of questions to ponder right now for Rohit Sharma. It's not an easy decision to make because quite a few of his bowlers, other than Chahar and Harshal Patel, everyone else is gone.
Yeah, and looking at the dimensions of the ground, as you said, it's a very small ground. Of course, there was that dropped catch from Siraj as well, a deep square leg right before the 10th over mark of Ashwin, of Riley Rousseau, who's in brilliant form, as you said. So these aren't good signs, and especially now that you're entering slowly towards that 14th, 15th over mark where the death overs start, and that's going to be a real worry because if these 2 batters are set at that point in time with these short boundaries, Joy, they can really make merry.
They can really make hell. Short boundaries, set batsmen, these are all. And remember, Arshdeep is also not there. So really, Harshal Patel is going to bowl from one end. It's going to be one of Umesh or Siraj who will have to be bowling at the other end. And they really haven't had the opportunity to play themselves into any kind of form. Yeah. So it's going to look like, if you get a couple of wickets, things could change. Otherwise, this looks to be a very formidable total.
Yeah, and you'd say this is a good opportunity for Harshal. Something that we were discussing while we were previewing this game during the last game as well, Joy, that this is a good stage for him. These are very tough situations, very tough circumstances. Conditions are not in your favor. This is a very good time for Harshal to say that, all right, the stage is not set for me, but I'll come here and perform and give you those good death overs.
Great, absolutely. My only point to that is that we have to judge him by a different metric. Yeah. Because on a ground like this, if you're going to turn around and say that, I'd say 10 and over, if he gets to 10 and over in these conditions, it's a really good bowling performance. And that's a thing that you always have to, I think one of the problems is we look at figures in their entirety. We don't look at them in the circumstance. Today, in these circumstances, he gets 10 and over, he goes 4 for 40. I think he will have done a fantastic job.
Yeah. But will Team India mind conceding 10 overs as an average at the end of 20 overs? Because this seems like a 200 score.
This definitely looks going south of 200. Definitely.
Yeah, it does. My prediction was 201. Let's see if South Africa get there or not. But that's all that we have for you on Cricbuzz Comm Box right now. Thank you, Joy, for joining us. Thank you to all of you as well for tuning in. We'll see you, of course, at the end of South Africa's innings with Cricbuzz Live.